Right then, North London derby, big game. What does it feel like in your body when I mention the name Tottenham Hotspur? What happens in your body?
I just got get a sort of like surge of adrenaline. Um,
Is
and
it is it like because I'm a Forest fan, but I'm more of a football fan. You are an Arsenal fan. Like you
mm,
are, by the sounds of it, you're like, yeah, you're a proper Arsenal fan, season ticket holder. Is the hatred for Spurs? I'd love to know what it feels like. Is it fucking? Is it heavy?
yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah. See, I didn't grow up in North London like myself. I grew up in sort of central kind of South London. So like my closest team was Chelsea, really. So I can't say that I necessarily grew up with like loads of like Spurs fans around me as well, where it was kind of like all about like bragging rights, Arsenal and Spurs. I used to really really hate Chelsea when I was younger, um, but I think when you kind of go to when you go to like a North London derby, you go to a game, you can just kind of feel how important it is and how much like vitriol there is, I guess, between the fans.
Yeah,
It's really really intense. Um, and yeah. I mean, it just feels it feels massive when you're at a game. Even when the atmosphere at the Emirates used to be like a bit like a library, I guess. So years ago, that game always still felt different when you went to it. So yeah, I can't wait, mate.
if I was to, if I had a bag of cash next to me, right, and I was to propose to you that you wore a Tottenham Hotspur kit every day for 1 week, and you had to wear it everywhere, how many, how many wads, how many £1,000 wads would I have to take out before you went? Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it for 50 grand.
50 grand.
I shouldn't really be saying this online actually. To be honest, I'll probably get some stick from our one or two viewers.
50
Um,
grand then. So I whack out 50 grand. You wear a Tottenham Hotspur kit every day from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. Everywhere you go, you can't wear a coat over it.
that's cool.
50 grand. It's quite a lot of money.
Yeah, that's quite difficult. How long for though? What, forever or just for
No,
like?
1 week, a solid
Oh, for a
week.
week. Oh, for a week. Yeah, I'll do that 50 grand. Yeah. I'll just make sure I don't go anywhere where people know me or notice me.
No, you're not. No, you have to live your normal life.
So I have to go to like work in like therapy rooms and stuff, just wearing a Spurs shirt.
Yeah, otherwise the 50 grand gets removed. If you hide away, you're not earning your
Yeah,
50 grand.
I'll do it. I'll do it, mate. I'll do it for 50 grand. But
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah, I
interesting.
reckon some more kind of um, yeah, I don't know, some other really, really kind of what's the word? Can't think of the word, but I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans would say that they wouldn't do that, even for £1 million.
Yeah.
Did you see Jack Wilshere on Talk Sport when he had to do it?
Yeah, that's funny. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really funny.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's get into the game then. So, um, what's any sort of team news? Any injuries that you're working with at the moment?
Yeah, I guess we've still got three players out, so we've still got obviously Timber. Probably don't put mentioning him because he's pretty much out for the season. Although there has been some positive news that he's kind of progressing well and might be back around Feb March, which would be great. Um, Party's still out for a couple more weeks, I think, and also Martinelli as well is he's got like a hamstring tweak because he went off in the Everton game, didn't he, after scoring that disallowed goal. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we got those players out, but I mean, we're not really. I was actually going to message you, mate, because we had that win on Wednesday night in the Champions League, and yeah, that was far from boring. We looked really really good that night,
Yeah.
but I've got to say the opposition, PSV, weren't. They were just like far too open. And to be honest, I think there's a from when we were last in the Champions League in what 2016, 17. So we haven't been in it for 6 years, but in that time, like the Premier League has got like even stronger. The Premier League's got so strong, and I think the strength of like the Champions League, particularly in like the group stages, it's definitely come down. Like PSV just weren't at the same level as even you guys or Fulham, who we've already played in the Premier League. Like Nottingham Forest and Fulham are stronger than PSV really, and you could see that when we were playing them.
Yeah, it's
Which is
interesting.
I think it's really interesting. Yeah,
I guess a direct example of that is Forest have signed who was PSV's best player.
yeah,
And I think, I might be wrong, but I think PSV have sold two or three of their best players recently. So
yeah.
they're going to be threadbare. But the only objection I'd have to that is Brighton lost
I
to
know.
AEK Athens.
Yeah,
Liverpool staggered home against an Austrian side. I've forgotten their name. So,
yeah.
like, there is still quality in Europe.
There is, there is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, really fascinating to see Brighton struggle against Athens because they look so formidable in the Premier League at the moment.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
AEK Athens aren't even they lurk about fourth or fifth in the Greek league.
Right.
So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. You would have thought that Brighton would have just turned up and demolished them, really. But I guess sometimes as well, there could also be a bit of you know, can be a bit psychological as well, can't it? Going from Premier League to Europe is a bit different.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, um, before the game on sort of Wednesday, I was kind of like, we should, if we play well, we should win easily. We should smash them really. But I was still a bit apprehensive. But it's our first game in the Champions League for a long time. There are going to be some nerves. So maybe that caught up with Brighton a bit too. But I mean, PSV had. Sorry, I was going a bit off on a tangent from kind of injuries and stuff. But PSV had Bella Kotchap from Southampton at centre half. And I mean, again, that kind of just sums up the strength a little bit, maybe too, doesn't it?
yeah, no, totally. It feels like oh, this is a tangent as well. I'll be very quick.
Hmm.
This is my feeling, and this is probably me just like morbidly reflecting and wanting the past to come back. But it feels like the magic of the Champions League has been lost since the days it was on ITV. Do you remember when it was on ITV?
Yeah, yeah,
And it felt just like such big nights watching the English clubs play against the European giants. I think because the roles are reversed now, we are the giants,
mm,
and so we're playing these teams in Europe who are no longer revered like they used to be.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I don't know. There's just there used to be. I used to be so excited to watch the Champions League. I just don't have that anymore, and I think it's because the Premier League have overtaken Europe.
yeah, yeah.
It
Agree.
doesn't feel as magic. It doesn't feel as exciting. Like
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, even when it went from on ITV, it was exciting, definitely. But even when it went from like Sky to BT, what was that, 6 years ago, maybe more? It kind of seemed to lose a bit on BT as well. I thought from Sky, but yeah, definitely like the Premier League also essentially becoming like almost like the European Super League, right? That has definitely had a knock-on effect on the Champions League. I still
yeah,
think from the quarterfinals onwards, it's still very strong, but group stages, yeah, it's kind of there are a lot of not great teams really, but yeah, I guess we've transgressed a bit, haven't we, from the North London derby?
yeah. So how do you see the game playing out? So like I'd say the interesting angle is Tottenham are riding a positive wave at the moment. They've fluked a few. Well, fluke's probably a harsh word, but they've scraped home a few wins recently. But they are playing really good football. And yeah, I just wonder if what's I mean, and I looked at the odds. Like Tottenham are under 3-1 to beat you away from home.
Are they?
To be
Okay.
yeah, you're just under even. So it's not like it's
Hmm.
pretty in the balance. Like as far as the bookies are concerned. I mean, how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, yeah. I think I've only really seen sort of Spurs highlights so far this season, but yeah, they do look like they're kind of playing, especially like the last couple of years. Spurs have kind of they've really not they've really not looked like they were kind of like enjoying themselves, right, or like having fun at all. They've looked so like inhibited, and I guess they've had quite negative managers, I guess, in terms of the way they want to set their teams up. Like, Mourinho, Conte. So they do seem like more free now, I guess, and like they're kind of like they've been liberated, I guess, maybe as a team. Madison's playing well, isn't he? Richarlison's started. Well, he scored last week. So yeah, I think look, it's always going to be even when even the Invincibles, right? Even like 20 years ago, we would say on the way to being invincible, and Spurs were like a mid-table team really back then 20 years ago. North London derbies were still close. We very rarely won at White Hart Lane. We used to win sometimes convincingly at home, but sometimes not. So yeah, they're always close really. So I think it's going to be quite a tight game. Yeah, but I do I don't want to like appear overconfident, but at the moment like I'm just looking at our team and the way that um, how we're looking, even in the Premier League, if we haven't hit top gear yet, we're looking very strong, and I can't kind of back against us, or I can't go into a game and not say that I'm predicting us to win really. But I do think it's going to be close. But I think we will potentially edge it and win. Hopefully, that's obviously my heart and my head speaking. I think. How do you see it going, Pete?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that those sort of games are anomalies that you can kind of throw the form book out the window when you play those sort of games. So hard to predict. I just think it will be a really good game, and I think we were talking in our last video about the way you set up and the way other teams have set up against you in kind of defensive ways, and it hasn't necessarily been that exciting to watch. I think at the very least, what you'll get against Spurs is they're going to try and play. They're going to
Mm,
try and play some attacking football. It's going to be a good game to watch. So hopefully, it will bring the best out in your team as well. Um,
yeah. Do you think they will definitely kind of play? Because I'm not sure if they because PSV played really open, right? So that was the first time we've actually smashed a team. PSV played really open. Saka had like 1v1s against their fullback all the time. Do you think Spurs are going to sort of try and take the game to Arsenal? Do you think, or are they going to sit back? Or I don't really know what's exactly what they're going to
only listening to Postecoglu,
do.
he only knows one way,
Okay, yeah.
and he's very adamant on we never stop, high intensity till the final whistle. I don't think, by the sounds of it, I don't think a Postecoglu team ever parks the bus.
Okay.
And that might get exposed over 38 games in a Premier League season. But so far, it's kind of worked. They've managed to either look phenomenal or they've kept going, and they've got 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of the match.
Mm-mm.
So I just think it's going to be a good game. I think Spurs are going to be good to watch. They're going to be good value for money all season, given the way Postecoglou sets his teams up.
Mm.
And I think Arsenal, the way you're set up, you tend to thrive against teams that give you a bit of space. So
Yeah.
just I think it's kind of set fair for. I'm really looking forward to watching it as a neutral. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, in terms of how I see the result, I think because it's a North London derby, I don't think form book comes into it at all. I think it's just who's got the edge in that 90 minutes, and
Mm.
who knows.
Mm. I expect Jesus to play as well, but Jesus was like phenomenal the other day against
Mm.
PSV. He played so well, and it almost looked like he was kind of back to his form at the beginning of last season, like before the World Cup when he got injured, when he was fantastic. I expect him to start instead of Nketiah on Sunday. I think he got taken off after about 65 minutes to save him. I think so. I think he's going to play. Trossard is coming for Martinelli. Trossard played really well, so that's positive. Um, and then the goalkeeper as well. I think we spoke about it last time, didn't we? I think Raya's number one now, mate.
Yeah, you could argue whoever starts this game is Arteta's
Mm,
number one.
possibly, but I thought Ramsdale would play in the Champions League. I really did.
Oh, he didn't. I didn't see that. So Raya got the
No.
start.
Yeah, yeah. Raya's played both. Yeah,
Oh my god, I
yeah.
feel so bad for Ramsdale.
I know.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, yeah. But I was thinking about this, right? It's almost I feel bad for him too, and I think like every Arsenal fan does, and every football fan as well, because he's been so good. He's really likable. He kind of almost, in some way, he like epitomises kind of Arsenal's return to like being a bit of a force, if that makes sense. Because when he came in, we weren't.
Mm.
So yeah, I feel bad for him. But I was thinking about this. It's almost like what Arteta's done with like Raya and Ramsdale. It's like almost like the complete opposite, right, of what Gareth Southgate has done and has been doing with Harry Maguire, with Jordan Henderson. It's like blind loyalty Southgate's got in some of these players just because they've served him well in the past. Whereas Arteta, like he's not really interested in that, right? If he thinks a player's going to improve the team, it seems like he's just gonna replace them, even if it's someone who served him well.
We'll see if that works. We'll see if that works. Because Southgate's philosophy, especially with Maguire and Pickford and Henderson, is that it might not be that they're in form, but there's a continuity to the transition of the squad,
Mm,
in that there's players that have been in the England setup for a long time that can mentor the younger players that are new to the England squad. And so there's that consistency, so that when every time they go back into the England camp, there's familiarity, there's personalities they already know. There's not this ever revolving door, and I get that in terms of for footballers, it's their job. So when they go to the England camp, there's no settling in period. They're familiar, and Harry Maguire has been out of form for like 2 years now. So he's not going to get in the England team on form alone, but you can't argue with his experience as an England player. So if you're new to the England squad, someone like Harry Maguire is going to be useful to have around. So what do you value more, form or squad morale and kind of squad unity?
mm, mm. I get, yeah, I do get that, but I guess it doesn't mean they have to start right in the first 11 all the time. You could always pick them in the squad and just have them around still.
I agree with that.
Mm,
I agree with that,
yeah.
but I understand why they're still in the setup.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm.
yeah, I still feel it's harsh on Ramsdale, but then maybe we don't see them at training. We don't know what's going on. I don't know, but
Yeah, it's hard on him. It is hard on him. But
yeah,
Raya is better on the ball. Like he clearly is. Like if you're watching Arsenal, you can't really kind of be kind of honest really if you're going to say that he's not. Yeah,
yeah. And also, very quickly before we move on,
yeah,
um, so Trossard is the direct replacement for Martinelli on the left, or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is that hard on Nelson or not?
Yeah.
Because Trossard isn't. Is he a winger? He's not an out-and-out winger, is he?
I guess he's not an out-and-out winger. No, that's the thing. He plays a. I guess if you're looking for like a like-for-like replacement, Nelson would be closer. Yeah, Trossard plays the position quite differently. He's sort of
Yeah.
less, doesn't like take his man on. He's kind of more comes inside Trossard. But I think Trossard's a better player than Nelson. So yeah, I'm happy that Trossard comes in. Really played really well the other day. Um, so yeah, different options, but yeah, I think Trossard is the like next in line after Martinelli. Yeah.
And final question: we are what, eight or 9 games in? Who's in your opinion? Who are the three in the center of the park for Arsenal now? Who? What's your best midfield?
That's still a hard question, I think, because Havertz is still dividing opinion. Yeah, well, it's and Partey's injured, of course, as well.
But let's remove injury
So
for a second.
remove injury. So if we were playing, say, the Champions League final tomorrow
Yeah,
against Manchester City, who would I play in midfield? I think I'd play Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, and Odegaard. I
yeah.
think. I think.
I think I think more people would be in favour of you. I think
Okay.
with that. Interesting. But Havertz is going to start tomorrow.
Havertz is going to start, or Vieira might start. Vieira started in the last one against
Interesting.
Everton, so Havertz or Vieira, I think, and I don't mind either. Havertz is slowly growing into the team, I'd say. He
Okay.
actually looks better almost when last 20 minutes he's been put up front in a couple of games, and he looks good there. He probably looks better there than he does in midfield at the moment.
He kind of slid there for Chelsea, didn't he, over time? So there's a reason why that happened, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Cool. Well, I look forward to it.
big game.
Hard result to call, but we'll just enjoy the game, I guess, and then
Yeah.
we'll do a little reviewy.